survivors. It's Rossana Novaes again with MindShift Global Ministries podcast. I want to invite you to be a part of a very special conversation. Dungee Leonard, he is the CEO and Executive Director of Hope Hustlers in Atlanta, and he actually is a friend of ours on the team. He's helped build out this podcast studio. Really exciting. We got to talking, we became friends. He is also a believer. I'm just like so proud to be a part of what he's doing too. And we're going to talk about so many things, very important issues. So it's going to be a very needed conversation simply because us that have been through domestic violence, we know that weapons within the home is something that's very pervasive and it needs to be talked about and addressed. And I want to welcome Dungee to the show. Thank you so much, sweetie, for being a part of something.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. If you can tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you.
Right.
But they don't.
Right. Hope Hustlers is a gun violence prevention program. It's been in existence for 3 years, although before that it's continuation of my mother's work, who has been doing it for over 20 years. And so she's semi-retired, and we just, kind of rebranded and kept moving.
Okay.
So we're the premier gun violence prevention program in the Southeast.
So why is this important?
It's important because we're losing souls, we're losing kids, we're losing, people.
Yeah.
To gun violence at an alarming rate.
Yeah.
To date, there's been over 35,000, homicide.
Are you kidding?
In the country.
Wow.
It's about 115 a day.
Oh my gosh, Dungee.
Over 1,100 teens and over 200 youth, babies.
Jeez.
Yeah. So it's about everyone has a gun now.
So let's talk about this whole gun violence situation. What's going on with our youth? And if we can hone in on domestic violence and the challenges that you've had in Hope Hustlers with the situation.
Yeah. First of all, because of politics, now everyone can have a gun. Everyone, even felons. They not legally can't own one, but they can go buy one without a background check. And so when you talk about more guns being in homes, that's why.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the narrative is you have to have one for protection. But if, it's just like a car, you have to get a driver's license to get a car or drive a car.
Right.
And really you just have to go and pay for the gun and you don't have any training and whatnot. That's still a dangerous, obviously, situation.
Yeah. And as far as intervention with domestic violence and the crisis that's occurring now with violence in the home, what do you offer the youth in order to prevent them or any like some type of approach in their shifting of the mind, like they're
right. Well, first and foremost, we take a public health approach to violence, not just gun violence, to violence, period.
Yeah.
And so we treat it like a pandemic. Obviously, remember COVID?
Yep.
There's 3 steps to treating any pandemic. First, we have to interrupt the transmission. Second thing is to prevent the spread. The third thing we have to do is change group and social norms. So when we're addressing violence and treating it as a disease, the first step is to interrupt the transmission. And so we have to focus initially on the highest risk individuals. These are youth and young adults who are the highest risk of either committing violence or being a victim of violence because of their situation.
Right.
We reach out, we prevent the spread by not just talking to that youth or that young adult, but we want to reach out to that whole family and that whole household to find out how we can make this household whole again. And then once we do that, we change the group and social norms. We provide a plan. Say, look, okay, well, mom needs a job. Let's get mom a job. You need to, all humans need food, water, clothing, shelter, and sleep.
In other words, let's get this house in order.
Right.
Let's clean up house.
Right, because it makes no sense for me to have that youth or young adult for 4 hours a day and send them back to a dysfunctional household for the other 20.
Right. So there has to be a level of commitment.
Definitely.
From every single member of the family.
Right.
What would you say is the biggest challenge right now with our youth as far as like their mentality? What's happening now in this culture? Is there any social media influence? The lack of both parents in the household? Is it a Mix of both. What are you seeing out in Atlanta right now? What's happening? What's the trend?
Again, I would say the major thing is unaddressed trauma.
Okay.
When you're in a community and you shouldn't be used to seeing dead bodies. You shouldn't be used to gun violence or any kind of violence. And then when you add in those factors like social media, the narrative, music, and we've got a group of individuals who haven't addressed their trauma, they become numb to it.
So they like the sensitivity of how serious.
Of how serious it is until after something happens.
Right.
But when you see it over and over and you're constantly going to, candlelight visuals for, people who are slain in the street, you do become numb to it. And you also feel that maybe, it's going to happen to me eventually, so might as well just deal with it and keep moving. And that's been the major issue.
The unaddressed trauma.
The unaddressed trauma.
Okay. Is Hope Hustlers working with other partners to address trauma, or are you thinking about this in the future?
Well,
what's the next steps?
Yeah, I mean, we have several community partners, even, as yourself, we don't do everything. I'm not a mental health counselor, but I have mental health counselors. I don't focus directly on domestic violence, but I have you.
Right.
And so that's how we work. We have community partners, couple organizations, Mothers Against Gang Violence. She does our family engagement, Time to Thrive. Leah, she does our grief counseling. And so, yeah, it's about bringing the whole community together. We just go places where most people can't go. So we would go into that dysfunctional home.
Right.
And not have an issue and have, actually go in, recommend it. Hey, right.
Because peace starts with
Within.
Peace starts with a smile.
Oh, yes.
Mother Teresa.
Yes. I think about it. I was like, I've heard that.
Because I was reading your website just to make sure, I didn't want to miss anything. I was like, oh, Mother Teresa is one of my role models. Yes. And I'm like, I'm going to tell Dungee that.
I forgot all about that, yeah.
I looked that up. I didn't remember that she was always saying that.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, and you have to, when you approach.
So you're non-threatening.
Right, and we approach it with love. And now, I guess, we've been doing it so long that our name, we're known for helping people. And so when we come and say, we're called. They call us initially. Right. And then we just go from there. So that's been a blessing within itself.
That's a blessing. Now, speaking of blessings, you are a believer.
Yes.
And could you tell us a little bit about your past and just a brief testimony how God has led you to this amazing calling?
Yeah. I'm originally from Virginia, athlete. And I was coming up in the 80s, and one thing led to another. I was at Hampton University, and it was the 80s, and so I got in with a different crowd, and it just went from there.
Yeah.
I was always, a financial guru, kind of a numbers guy, and so my part in that drug game was that. That's what I did. I was the money man, and it just went on for 25 years. But finally, in 2002, I was charged with the RICO Act, which is racketeering. And
right, yes.
And it boiled down to, I didn't actually get convicted of RICO. I was convicted of fraudulent schemes, money laundering, and conspiracy to traffic. But what that was my moment. That was when God sat me down and was like, okay, you finished playing? Because I've got stuff for you to do, and it's time for you to get started, sir.
It's been over 2 decades, brother.
Right.
I'm not going to keep watching you go down a black rabbit hole.
Right, right. And so, but while I was there, I actually did 7 years in prison. But that was when I actually found what my calling and my purpose was, because I helped over 400 inmates get their GED. Yeah, and so but I was never in a gang, but I associated with all of them.
Yeah.
I was able to mediate conflicts on the yard, and so that was when I found my purpose, or the light bulb went off. And so when I hit the ground, my mother started a nonprofit because she figured my son that I've been sent to Hampton University is now a kingpin.
In this situation.
Exactly. And so she started.
What's happening?
Right. And so she started a nonprofit, and when I got out of prison, I hit the ground running with her organization and just been going ever since.
Praise the Lord.
So,
what is the most fulfilling part of your calling, of this ministry?
Oh.
For you?
When I have a participant, and I use this analogy. you see the light bulb go over above their head, and they get it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is.
They connect, like they make that connection.
They make that connection, and then they realize that it's, it's partly God sent, and then the other part is, this is your purpose.
Yeah.
And luckily, hopefully, we can get you to figure out your purpose before you're 38.
Right.
So.
Oh,
yeah.
that's a long time.
That's a long time. So.
Redemption.
Yeah.
Right, brother? Forgiveness.
That's how it works.
Grace, mercy,
Exactly.
all of God's goodness just being poured on you.
Exactly. And that's how it works.
Yeah.
And then again, our family, when I say our family, you're part of the family. When it's domestic violence, we support you, you support us.
What can we do for you? How can we partner in the future? I know that we've been brainstorming a little bit. We don't have anything concrete yet.
Yeah.
It's a relatively new ministry. And I wanted to bring you on the show so you can explain like what's really needed and what can we do to bridge the gap.
Yeah, I think as Hope Hustlers, as we move through our space and the spaces that we're in, when there is a domestic violence situation, and it may come from the community, it may come from the court, it may be a situation we're working with a child in the school, and we find out, then we would refer them to you.
Okay.
And then we would share, obviously, the information so we could, collectively help them out.
That sounds great. I'm excited.
Yeah, I can't wait. Rest of the year.
Yeah, I know, because we're
close.
It's coming.
Yeah,
it's coming.
So.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
Time is moving so fast.
Yep.
So the success story, do you have a particular one that you always kind of keep in the back of your mind and it helps you to push forward when you got a rough week?
Yeah. And we've had a few success stories, but the one that most sticks out, and actually I saw him last week, and I hadn't seen him in a couple of years. I met a kid, he was, my office is downtown. It was on MLK on the west side. And there was a shootout up the street. And so, it's normal. Unfortunately, it's normal on that side of town. But I saw this young man. He was trying to get away from this gun, but apparently ended up, he was the one in the gunfight. But something told me to, bring him inside and get him into safety. And we sat down and talked. He was like, I just want to, survive. I just want to, I don't want to be.
I don't want to be a part of this.
Exactly.
I'm frustrated.
Right. And so I poured into him. And we sat him down, and we came together and put together a plan, a success plan. We call them an individual success plan for him and him only.
Okay.
And he had some ups and downs. He had to go to school and do some different things, but he overcame all of those obstacles. And today he's in IT for Best Buy.
What?
Yes. So, and this is the same kid I saw running down the street with a gun.
Praise the Lord.
So
Thank you.
only 3-4 years ago. So yeah. His name is Dante.
Dante. Shout out to Dante.
Shout out Dante. But yeah, I use him as an example all the time because, if he can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah.
We can all do it. We can all change.
Do you ever share your faith story or faith journey with any of the youth?
Yeah, I do. Because it's my, it's part of my purpose. And so, but they appreciate that because then they say they can find and look into their own spirituality and see where it is.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a pastor, my mom reminded me of this. She says, it's a nonprofit, but this is your ministry, right? I was like, yeah.
That's why I said this is your calling and your ministry.
Yeah, there's a difference now. I was like, salvation is free, ministry costs money.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, exactly. We know that. So, but yeah, this is what it is. And so that's just my way of doing it. And a lot of people, they, fortunately, they need that. They respond to it.
Yeah. It's that sense of loss.
Yes.
It's a sense of hopelessness, but then you provide that hope.
Right. That's what
You
we call
provide
hope
the
hustlers.
exactly.
Exactly.
You hustle
Hope.
to present hope to them that it's real, it's attainable.
It's attainable, right?
Right. So whatever's happened up here can be shifted, can be
Right.
changed.
Right. but it starts with you.
Right.
You gotta, but you have to believe it. And again, that goes back to the unaddressed trauma. If you don't see yourself going to college, or if you don't see yourself being a doctor or a lawyer or an Indian chief or whatever it is, then how are you going to get there?
Right.
And
So it's a sense of belief.
it begins with that.
It begins with
You got to have a plan. You got to have a plan. That's
Right.
important. But it does start with the belief that, I can do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it takes a little bit of humility too, and it takes a little bit of reality in the sense that, a lot of the young guys that I meet, okay, well, you're 18, and say, I want to go to the pros, I want to go in the NFL. I say, maybe a little late for that, but in that locker room, there are 100 jobs. You should still be in a locker room.
That's a really good point.
You know?
Because a lot of them have the passion for
Right.
sports, entertainment,
Rapping,
arts.
you know, I get all...
American culture is really big on that. Let's
Right.
just talk truth.
Right.
It's quick money. You get famous really fast, and they think that money is going to solve all their
Right,
problems.
but more money, more problems.
Right. We already know that.
Right, and you know, even the example, most of them, I can say 90% of them will say they want to be a rapper in addition to a football player, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I remind them, say, okay, well, you may have some talent in that, but remember, in that studio, there are 5 or 10 different people, you know, just in the studio, the engineer, and you got, you know, and so there's so many jobs and careers based in that industry.
Correct.
That you don't necessarily have to, you know how many people are behind stage making that
Right.
concert happen?
Right.
Right, and so that's kind of the thing that we pour into, and it makes it obtainable for them.
Well, that's the thing too, because it's kind of like this false sense of security
Right.
that money will be able to solve all these problems.
Right.
Because coming from a low socioeconomic background,
Right,
it's needed. They need the health care.
Right.
They need better housing.
right, right.
And all these things that are like in their face every day in, day out that they don't have, they figured if they have a large sum of money really quick, then everything can turn around.
Right.
But it's, in essence, it's what you do with
Right.
the money.
Right,
And then you coming from a finance background,
right. That helps.
anybody can make a large sum of money, right? We're in the land of opportunity.
Right,
However, it's what we do with it, who we influence with it, and how we make it impactful, not only for your family,
Right.
but for the community. Because if God is blessing you with that much money,
Right.
you have a responsibility,
Exactly.
a huge one.
exactly. And it's interesting you say that because I was a stockbroker. That was my first job. Not my first, I was at the bank, and then I moved on to, you know, Wall Street, and knew how to make money legally. But
Right.
greed and other things came into
So
play.
you wanted more,
I wanted more.
Right,
I
right,
wanted it faster.
and you wanted it faster.
Right.
Because it already kept coming. It was like
It
this
was already
momentum.
coming, right.
Well, what would happen if I get more?
Right.
But then what was God teaching you? What was God actually showing you in the midst of that greed?
Right. He was actually showing me that you're going to be teaching this one day because one of the parts of what we're
Because it
talking
doesn't
about.
work.
Right.
Greed is sinful.
Right.
I mean, it separates us from God. Because
Right.
God, in the end, is the one that has plenty. He's the one that has everything.
Right.
And we need to look towards Him
Right.
to reach our
Right.
deepest desires.
Right.
Yeah.
So when he sat me down, that was my humbling point.
Yep.
It's like, it doesn't matter how much money you had. Right. We got to start over now. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, financial literacy is a major part of what we do. You know, again, we have to address some
Financial literacy.
financial literacy,
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
job readiness,
Yep.
mental health.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Huge.
Right. And
Yep.
so that's the
Spiritual
key.
development.
Spiritual development. all
That's
these
another
things.
huge one. I'm here.
Right.
We are here.
Right. And I want to thank you for being that because it's difficult in our community with the church and the community. It's just difficult.
When you say difficult, give me one example. What's the
I'll give you an
what's the
example.
hurdle?
Okay. So, and we partner with churches from time to time. And I remember we were throwing, we had a basketball tournament.
Okay.
And, you know, I deal with the highest risk. So everybody has a gun somewhere, you know, when they come out.
On the spot.
Somewhere.
On hand.
Somewhere around them. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
And I just think that not necessarily the pastors, their heart obviously is in the right place. But when we start dealing with the congregation, you know, you say you want to help, but when I bring my people around, kind of standoffish and, you know, they smell like weed and, yeah, but they're not shooting anyone. You know, one thing at a time.
Right,
And so,
right. So their anxiety kicks in.
Right,
They box them in.
right,
And then they start believing what they're thinking.
right.
When
Right.
in reality, they haven't shown them anything.
They haven't shown them anything. You won't even let them in. And
That's a big problem.
Yeah,
That's a
and,
big problem.
and it's a major problem. And this takes us back. When we look at Jesus, you have to remember who he walked amongst.
The sinners.
Right.
The
So
least of them, the sinners. He came for the sinners,
right.
not for the healthy ones.
Right.
Right.
So that's
Church is a hospital. Not a pretty place where we go play some pretty music.
Exactly.
And dress up all nice and pretty.
And, right.
I like dressing nice and pretty. Now we looking good.
I know,
by the
right?
way.
We do clean
You
up
got the
well.
red tie. You know, it's funny how the Lord works. I just want to let y'all know. I was going to record an episode with just me. He walks in half an hour early because I was going to record my episode before we were going to get together. And I see him walking with a red tie. And the Lord said, no, you're going to wear this outfit. So
See how it works?
another high five.
Exactly. That's
We're
how it
looking
works.
good. Anywho, okay. I had to add that just like warm-hearted thing because it was true how God works.
Exactly.
But going back to the church, how they aren't welcoming. Some churches
Some churches, not all of them.
Right, are not welcoming.
Yeah.
And then let's talk about what happens with that population. At that point when they feel a sense of rejection.
There's no ownership in the community in the sense where when I was coming up, the churches was where we went
Right.
to get away from things.
Yeah.
But when you shut out, first of all, you know, in the community, you probably have it doesn't matter even if it's a larger church or a small church, you're smack dab in the hood, for lack of a better term. And that's the place was supposed to be a place of refuge for those
right.
people in that community.
Right.
But when they feel that they can't, you know, or they won't be accepted,
yeah.
you know, and so now you become, you know,
Shunned.
Shunned.
Right.
Yeah,
right,
and so
right,
it doesn't,
rejected.
right, and so they don't
So
feel.
what they're doing is they're not going. They're not going to church.
Right. But you got your church smack dab in the middle of their neighborhood. You know, and so.
So that's where they would reach out to you.
Right.
Like if the congregation feels uneasy
Right.
or they need to take certain measures or protocol, it's not like we're not going to do anything about it, but
Right.
let's talk about it. Let's
Yeah.
come up with a plan so that when they do come in, everybody feels safe.
Right.
Right? Because I mean, the killings are real, the guns are real,
Right.
violence is real.
Yeah. But I do think the churches, though, they still they're still kind of a safe haven. And they have their own security usually.
Right.
And so I think that once, you know, the members of the church feel safe once they get there. And generally when church starts, it's Sunday morning. And most of the people that are out in the middle of the night aren't even awake then.
Awake.
You know, so
Yeah, and
then
they're
by the
the
time
ones-
church is over, that's when they start waking up.
But the funny thing is that they're the ones that need church the most.
Exactly.
Right? So maybe
You're exactly
we should
right.
change church service time
Right.
to afternoon so we can bring them in.
Right.
But safely.
Right.
And not for them to take offense if we pat them down. It's just to kind of protect everybody.
Well,
Do you
think about it
that
this way,
would be a good
Rosanna.
idea?
You're church everywhere you go.
Yeah.
So you don't need a building, right?
Oh, no, no,
Okay,
no.
well, there it is.
But if they happen to have a
Oh, if they
building,
happen to- right.
if they have a standalone building inside, what can the church leaders or the church community do
I just think
to receive them?
I just think this need to be more accepting, a little bit more understanding, and understand that, you know, everyone's walk is different.
Yeah.
You know, we all come,
Compassion,
yeah,
right?
that too, empathy.
Empathy.
Those big words.
Non-judging.
Non-judgment.
Matthew chapter 7.
Exactly. I knew she was going to bring out scripture for that.
Matthew chapter 7, everybody.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but
Remove the log in your own eyes before you remove the speck
Speck.
of sawdust in your brother's eye.
Right.
Yeah. And that one's big for me because I've always been judgy. I come from a family where they can be critical.
Mine too.
And that was instilled.
Mine
So
too.
you got a mixed bag, right? Your family's not perfect.
Right.
And I've had to work through that, and you've had to too.
Same thing.
I appreciate your time. This has been awesome.
Anytime. You know, we've been talking about this for months now.
Yeah,
so
I
I'm glad
know.
I'm finally
I
here.
know. And I'm excited. I'm
that's
excited
good.
to work with you.
Good. Good.
Absolutely.
We make some things happen.
Oh, give me a hug.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sweetie. Love you.
Love you too.
Bye. All right.
Okay.
I've got a quick game. Are you ready for it?
Great. Okay.
So, MindShift Thrive wants to be able to support your organization.
Oh, okay.
And the Lord kind of put it in my heart to write out a check for it's not going to be like
Don't worry.
big money.
Anything's more than what we had yesterday. So
As much as I want to give you so much money, I can't
I'm
right
trying to fund you. So.
Yes, thank you. Keep praying over that. So I'm going to call it Bible Jeopardy.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Let's go.
Okay. All right, everyone. Here's the check. I just opened the bank account, so I have these temporary checks. That's why they're so small. But we're going to write the check once it's done. And I'm going to shuffle these cards. See, they're all green for money. And every single question has a dollar amount.
Okay.
All right? You're going to close your eyes and pick one.
Okay.
All right. Close your eyes. Draw one out. Okay.
Okay.
So don't open it yet,
Okay.
but show the camera how much it's worth.
$50.
$50. Are you ready for the question? Now I'm going to ask you the question.
Okay, you ask me a question.
All right. This is a $50 question. Ready? Which woman of the Bible was a devoted follower of Jesus's ministry? Now, I'm doing a multiple choice because I want him to win all the money.
Thank you, because I was sitting there thinking, oh, Lord, there's a whole lot of women in the Bible.
This is called grace, right?
Thank you. I
And God
appreciate it.
just showers his blessings, so I'm not
Yes.
going to make it difficult. This is fun.
Okay.
H for thrive stands for humor,
Gotcha.
and we got to make it light and bright.
You've always been.
Okay. So A, Mary Magdalene. B, Mary J. Blige.
Mary Magdalene, don't even. Because that's you.
No,
Okay.
you got the third one. This one could be tricky.
Okay.
All right. Mary, Queen of Scots.
Oh, Mary Magdalene. Because I was going to say that anyway, by the way. I was going to say that first.
Just in case another one was
Just
like
in case
more than
another one, right, exactly.
You just earned $50. Hey. Okay, close your eyes and draw another one.
All right. Oh. Ding, ding, ding.
$100.
Yeah.
Woo!
Oh, C note.
Benjamin.
Yeah.
We got one Benjamin. That's a good starter. All right. Jesus performed 37 miracles. All right. In total.
Right.
Name at least 7.
Okay.
Not name 1. Name
No,
7.
no. I'm going to name 7.
Okay. Oh, okay.
He
Excuse
healed a
me.
leper.
Uh-huh.
He healed, they were afflicted by the madness, the crazy, or he wasn't crazy, what would he call it? He healed they had a demon. He had a demon.
Yes.
He sent the demon out of them
Yep.
into the pigs.
Yes. Okay. Yes. That's 2. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I got a whole 5. I should know this too, right? My mom's going to be so disappointed. He went to church every Sunday. I knew he wasn't listening.
No, but they're not talking about all the miracles all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
I gotta give you some.
All right, so what I said.
So the demons and the leper.
Mary Magdalene.
Yes,
He
yes,
healed
that's
her.
correct. 7 demons.
Yes.
So that's 3.
He
You have 1 more to go.
he walked on water.
Yes, of course.
Of course.
Defied the law of gravity.
Right. He fed the multitudes.
Yes, the fish, feeding of the fish.
What is that? That's
6,
6, right?
5.
Oh, that's 5.
You have 2 left.
Okay. Okay. Wait. He he died and came back.
Yes.
Which is a miracle,
The
right?
Resurrection. Yes, that counts. You got 1 more. You got 1 more.
I got 1 more. Okay. So
That was a miracle.
I know that's
a
a
huge
very
one.
true miracle. And I should notice I'm watching The Chosen. Have you watched
That's
The
okay.
Chosen?
Yeah, I'm done. Oh, it's so good. I want to watch it again.
It's over with? Is the new season out?
I don't know,
There's
but
one more season.
at least on Prime Video.
Oh, yeah,
it's
yeah,
up
it's-
to 8, I think.
Yeah, it's 1 more season. Oh,
Oh,
anyway, I don't want to get off topic. Wait a minute.
Oh my gosh, brother, that's really good.
He also
Think of when we celebrate, we drink something. It's a very popular.
he turned water into wine.
Heck
Hey,
yeah.
I should have known that one first.
Solid.
I should have known that one first. That's where that.
But nowadays, he should be turning wine into water.
Exactly. You turn.
Let me stop. Everything in moderation is key, ladies and
Yes,
gentlemen.
yes.
Okay. Another $100 for home hustlers for a total of
$150.
50. Okay, we got 3 more to go. Close your eyes.
Oh wait, okay. I'm always going to the $75.
Okay. When was the Holy Spirit poured out in the New Testament? Before or after Jesus' ascension? Oh, he goes up to
Before.
heaven. Before?
Yeah, no, it was after.
It was after.
I was thinking, wait a minute, it couldn't have been before because he was.
That's okay. That's okay. Because it's a 2-part question, so you have another shot.
Okay,
So I
we
wasn't
can redeem
sure. It was a
ourselves.
little tricky. So we're going to do a do-over because that's what God does. He resets things.
Gotcha. He did
gives
for
you
me.
grace,
He
and
did.
every
I
day
can-
his mercies are new.
I know.
New every day.
Every day,
Okay.
right.
What so the Holy Spirit, when it came down and it came into like all of Israel, did it happen in the morning or in the evening?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you got it, brother.
I knew that part.
Yeah, okay, so I knew you were gonna know one of them.
Yeah, thank
$75.
you. Okay.
Okay, close your eyes.
$25.
25. Every bit counts.
Yep.
Name 3 of the original disciples that start with the letter J. It had to be a little
She
different.
did that on purpose.
He's like, that's not a $25 question.
No, I'm like, that's a $100 question. Wait, to start with a J.
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Judas.
Yes.
I need to repeat all.
I feel good. Na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Knew that I would now. Who sings that song? Cause it starts with a J now. Na-na-na-na-na-na.
Oh, James.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting about the other guys. I'm really Simon Peter, so I forget the other guys. You already know. I'm kind of a little volatile.
That's
So,
okay.
thank you.
I wanted to help you out. Okay.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
So last one.
Last one. Wait, there you go.
Okay. Show it.
Oh, yep. $50.
$50. All right. Let's go. Jesus became angry because of the true injustice and sin against God. Name one instance he displayed this. When did he show anger?
Oh, anger. Oh, when he raided the temple and turned the tables.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Do you know why?
Because they had turned the temple into a marketplace as
Correct.
opposed to a place of worship.
Right. So was his anger justified?
Yeah, I do it all the time. I'm just kidding, Brother Cameron. No, it was.
It
in
was
a sense.
justified,
It was.
right.
Because I think we were just talking about churches earlier, I think that's kind of what we're dealing with now.
Mm.
You know, and not all churches, by the way. I'm just saying,
Right.
You know, in
But
general.
this is real talk.
Yeah.
And it needs to be addressed.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things we do.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
it's about tithing as opposed to the ministry.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Thank you again. This has been fun.
it's been really fun.
So what's the total? Because I need to write you a check.
And what I would do on behalf of Hope Hustlers, if you have a family
Uh-huh.
that needs that, you would
Oh.
like to, on behalf of Hope Hustlers, you save that check and you give it to someone in need.
For like our survivors?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Dead serious.
Oh, another hug.
I know, right?
Oh my gosh.
Yay.
Oh, that's so sweet, man.
You're welcome.
That's
You're
awesome.
welcome.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So,
Wow,
Yeah, they
praise
need it.
God.
They
You see
need it.
how good he is? How he just turns it around? Aw. Okay, let me just sit in this. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. Okay, let me take this all in. This has been great.
we've been waiting to do this for a minute, too.
Yes, I
Yeah,
know.
we've been
I
talking
know.
about it for months.
It's been a while. But God,
Oh, God.
he pulled it off, and it came to fruition.
Yep.
Thank you, Lord. This is Rossana with MindShift Thrive Global Ministries. It's been a pleasure again, Dungee. Thank you
Always.
for all you do and your
Always.
organization.
Thank you.
On behalf of MindShift Thrive, we're here for you. We're going to partner.
Yep.
You're going to be on our website.
Yes.
And can you tell the survivors how to reach you if they need you?
Yes, Hope Hustlers, ATL.org is their website. Go there, you can fill out the information. We can, if you need immediate help, it's a violence or gun violence situation, please feel free to call me at 470-447-7440. That's my direct number.
Can you say that slowly one more time?
Yep. 470-447-7440. And that is my personal line, and it's 24/7.
Oh my gosh.
We respond to violence 24 hours a day.
It's like a hotline.
Right,
And
so
it's
this
your
is just for
line?
your followers, though. This
Oh,
is
for
not,
my
everybody doesn't get my number.
Are you serious? Really?
Yes.
Oh my, oh.
So they can call me at any time, and if I have to send someone or come out, that's what we do.
Awesome. Thank you.
Stop violence before it happens.
God bless you.
God
I
bless
appreciate you.
Thank you.
It's been an amazing other episode. Please don't forget to subscribe. Keep watching us. God is in the middle of it all. We love you, survivors, and please be safe. Bye-bye.